How do you stop a stalker and make sure a stalker is not going to find you? Well, I am going to read a reader message email that I got, and we're going to talk about that. So said, well, it's a long email, so she said some nice things up front. Thank you. I appreciate you're awesome. And she basically said that she's got kids and she is moving because she's had some stalker problems and she is worried about them finding her. So she needs to know how to move and make sure somebody can't find her address. And she said, would you be willing to go more in depth on what I can do, please? I plan to get a P.O. box and UPS box to prevent anything from being mailed to the new house, per your advice as well. Thank you so much for your time. I really hope to hear back from you or someone on your team. All right, so again, she's moving. She's got somebody coming after her, a stalker. First thing you got to do is not buy the house in your own name. And that can become a problem if you're getting a mortgage. I work with a lot of wealthy people, and so they just pay cash and they can go get the house in an LLC. Not so easy to do if you have to get a loan, but you've got to work with a small town bank, find a bank. I do not own my home in my own, I do not own my own home in my own name. It's in an LLC. You can put it into trust and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I recommend is going to can't speak today. Go to small town banks. Do not go to Bank of America. Do not go to Wells Fargo. They're going to say, forget you. They're not going to give you a time of day. And always be honest with people. For instance, I have nothing come to my home. Like I said, I don't own my home in my own name. My cars are not registered my home address. None of that. So when I go to the DMV, I use my UPS store. It's a physical address. One time I had somebody there trying to hassle me, and I was just honest, said, listen, I'm a former law enforcement officer. Before I joined the CIA, I was a police officer. I don't tell them I was CIA just because nobody's going to believe me, but I said, hey, I'm a former law enforcement officer for security. I never have anything come to my home. That's why I'm registering my vehicles to this address. The person was fine, allow me to do it. So you've really just, again, be honest, tell the truth. Say, I've got, crazy people after me. I got an ex-husband trying to murder me, and people understand, they'll work with you. In my town, because my house is not owned in my own name and it's in an LLC, I would have had to pay much higher property taxes, but most towns have a way where you can say yes and prove to them you live there, but it's not in their database. So it doesn't say Jason Hanson lives at 123 Main Street, Cedar City, Utah. I'm sure it also helps that I live in a small town where it's easier try imagine doing that in New York City or Los Angeles. So my big recommendations to are, like she said, get the P.O. box, get the UPS store, form an LLC. I like Wyoming LLCs, very easy to form. Talk to anybody she needs to, meaning use that small bank in that town. Explain the situation, tell the truth, tell the lender everything that's going on, see what the city requires you to make sure and hide your address. And most of these places these days, with the crazy world we live in, will be able to dial you in and help you to make sure that you can keep your name far away off of anything to do on the public records of where that house is. Now, in addition, because has a family and she wants to protect him, besides obviously protecting your home address and all that, you've got to protect your privacy and make sure that nothing gets leaked on the internet. So the way that I like to protect my privacy, and if you've been on the channel a while, I'm a big fan of Delete Me. And the good thing about Delete Me, they got something new going on. They have an expansion of their core services, and what that really means is you can protect anyone in your family in your Delete Me account. So it allows you to protect your kids, your wife, grandparents, whomever, and makes it very simple. Everybody who does this, everybody who is in your account to protect does have to be 18 years or older. And some of the good things about having this is, like I said, everybody can be under one account for your family. Each member has an individual data sheet. And what that means is you can have a specific online footprint to keep them protected, because obviously all of us are different human beings. But also you can set privacy first designs, which means you can set it so it's inaccessible to other people. That way other family members can't see your own personal private information. The best part is too, is that it's easy to use. It gives you a peace of mind, and with the crazy world we live in, I recommend Delete Me because you've got to protect your online privacy, and they do it for you. So if you want to get Delete Me, all you got to go is joindeleteme.com/Hanson and use coupon code Hanson for 20% off. Again, you got to be 18 or older to do this, but simple, easy, and they do all the work for you. So check out joindeleteme.com/Hanson. Okay, real quick, few more things. Besides using Delete Me, besides making sure your house is an LLC and you use UPS boxes, very important to make sure you're not being followed home. So how is somebody going to find you? You got to think of the criminal's mind. Well, if they know my UPS box is at 123 Main Street, Cedar City, Utah, well, they've got to camp out there. Now, that's somebody who's very motivated, because they're going to be camping out at my P.O. box a long time. Because one, I don't check my own P.O. box and I don't take my mail home. I go somewhere else to get it. Yes, I have layers upon layers, but let's say a regular person, not as crazy as me, if you go to the UPS store, you need to make sure somebody's not not sitting on that place and follows you home. Easy way to do that is a surveillance detection route. All that means is don't go straight home. Take a random left here, take a random right here, go around the block. If you see the same car behind you, obviously you don't go home. It takes, virtually no time to do. So just make sure that after you're checking your mail and you're driving home, you take a second here and there to check your rearview mirror, make sure you don't see the same car, that nobody's following you before you go home. And that's easy. God bless you. God bless our wonderful country. Please stay safe, because unfortunately we have a lot of stalkers in this world. And if you have any other questions you want to throw in here, I'm happy to answer them.